Have you ever wondered what happened to the person you thought you were going to become? Not the version people see today, the version you imagined when you were younger, the one who was going to be successful, fearless, confident, happy. Remember that person? Because most people don't lose their dreams overnight. They lose them quietly, one compromise at a time, one responsibility at a time, one bad year at a time. Until one day, they're too busy surviving to remember what they wanted in the first place. And that's the strange thing about growing up. Nobody tells you that your life won't be changed by one big decision. It'll be changed by thousands of tiny ones. The things you tolerate, the risks you avoid, the opportunities you postpone, the dreams you promise you'll come back to later. And before you know it, years have passed. Your friends are moving forward. Your parents are getting older. Life is moving faster than ever, and you're sitting there wondering, how did I get here? Maybe that's why old photos hurt. Maybe that's why old songs hit differently. Maybe that's why finding an old notebook feels emotional. Because for a moment, you meet a version of yourself that still believed anything was possible, a version that hadn't been disappointed yet, hadn't failed yet, hadn't become careful yet. And then the question appears, not, why didn't I become that person? But when did I stop trying? And honestly, that's a terrifying question, because most people don't remember the moment. There isn't one. Dreams rarely die dramatically. They fade under deadlines, under responsibilities, under fear, under comfort, under the belief that there will always be more time. Until one day, the dream starts feeling unrealistic, then childish, then embarrassing. So people stop talking about it, not because they stopped wanting it, because wanting it still hurts. It's painful to want something you no longer believe is possible. But here's the truth. If that dream still visits you sometimes, if it still appears when you're alone, if it still bothers you years later, then maybe it never really left. Maybe you just buried it, and maybe that's why you're listening to this right now. Not because you need motivation, not because you need another quote, but because some part of you is tired of watching your own life from the sidelines. Because, think about it, the younger version of you had dreams, but the current version of you has something more valuable: experience, wisdom, resilience. You know what failure feels like. You know what disappointment feels like. You know what it means to start over. And that's not weakness, that's preparation. Because the greatest comeback stories don't belong to people who never fell behind. They belong to people who refuse to stay there. Maybe 2026 isn't the year everything magically changes. Maybe it's the year you stop abandoning yourself, the year you stop saying one day, the year you stop waiting to feel ready, the year you stop asking for permission. Because confidence doesn't come first, action does. Clarity doesn't come first, action does. The comeback doesn't begin when life becomes easy. It begins the moment you decide you're not finished. So maybe the question isn't, what happened to the person I wanted to become? Maybe the real question is, what would happen if I gave that person one more chance? Because as long as you're here, the story isn't over. And maybe, just maybe, 2026 is the year the comeback begins.